Hello everyone, it has been a very long time since I have posted on this channel or done anything with this channel. I say very long time, but the last video I think I actually posted was back in 2021. It's been a long time since I've actually recorded videos with the intention of posting them on this channel and been actually serious about it. So that is what this video is going to be about, as you can probably tell by the title or somewhere on this video. I'm going to be talking about what happened, where I went, and my plans for return. Okay, so I'm not even going to do an intro or anything. I'm just going to get straight to the point because we've got a lot to cover. Not a lot, but I will make it a lot because that's just the kind of person I am. I talk a lot. I have my laptop over here. If I keep looking to my side, that's literally what I'm looking at. Yeah, I'm also going to be, I don't know, I do this with my hands a lot when I talk. It's so annoying. Okay. Few disclaimers. You're all gonna have to excuse me because in this video I'm probably gonna be sneezing and rubbing my nose a lot. My allergies are killing me today. I've already taken an allergy pill, but I noticed that whenever it starts to kick in, it literally wreaks havoc on my body. Like, my nose gets stopped up, I start sneezing. It's fine. The reason I stopped posting, for the main part, there is really no reason. Actually, life got the best of me. I've been busy. I know that whenever I was younger, I used to be really passionate about making YouTube videos and posting on YouTube all the time. It was something that I always wanted to do. I always thought that I was going to be like this big YouTube influencer, and I feel like every kid always has that dream because we grow up with social media in our hands. Like, we have it at the palm of our hand, and we just think that we're going to grow up to be some big famous influencer and make all this money, but obviously that's not always how it works out. But I always was really passionate about making YouTube videos, and then in 2019 we started moving houses. End of 2018, beginning of 2019, we started the process of putting our house on the market, selling it, and moving. And then in that process, we moved from one town. We were going to move from one town into the house that we're at now, but the if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that the insurance company, whatever, the bank, I don't know, whoever it was, they told us that we couldn't own like two houses at one time. We couldn't have that house in our possession and buy this one and then put that one on the market. I don't know. I was 14 when this happened, and I've had severe memory loss since then. I don't want to talk about it. But I just know that we could not move from that house to this one. So we had to move from that house to a camper trailer. I forgot how many feet it was, but it was way too little for 3 people. We had to move from that house to the camper trailer. We lived in the camper trailer for 4 months, and then we moved into this house. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that process, and that will kind of explain everything. The process of moving from our old house to the trailer, the camper trailer, that went really well. We had to put all of our things in storage. That was great, well and fine. And then we had to keep what little bit we did need and move it into the trailer. And we moved into that trailer with 2 dogs, 2 cats, a grumpy, hormonal 14-year-old teenager, and 2 50-year-old parents. We moved all of that into this little trailer, and we moved to a local campsite, campground place, whatever. I don't really know the correct term for it. I've always called it like a campground. So we moved into one of those, and this would all be perfect. It looks good on paper, but in theory it was not. We had to move every 2 weeks. We had to move from one side of the campground to the other, and I don't mean from just one side to the other. I mean, we had to move. There was Dub Patton, or there was South Abutment, and then there's Dub Patton, and we had to move every 2 weeks between the two. And doing that required unhooking our water, unhooking our electricity, taking it to the sewer thing, emptying out the sewer, emptying out the water. Because there's tanks on these campers that hold all your water, all the water that goes down the drain. It doesn't go down the drain into the sewer. It goes down the drain and into these tanks on your camper. And every 2 weeks you'd have to go and crawl underneath the camper, lay on your back, not crawl, lay on your back and pull the lever out, and it'd have to drain out into this big sewer thing. And it was horrible. I hated it. It was in the middle of summer. I did not a good situation. Did not like it. Anyway, so that was pretty eventful, and then we had to do that for 4 months. We had to do this for 4 months. 4 very long, excruciating months, but we got through it. And also, for all of my younger audience watching this, with no Wi-Fi. No Wi-Fi. We didn't have any Wi-Fi. And I know y'all are probably oh my gosh. Yeah, well, we did have data, unlimited data and a hotspot, but like whenever we were in Dub Patton, it did not have any service over there. Like 2 bars was the max that you would get, and we constantly, it was a struggle, but we made it. We made it. Worst 4 months of my life, but we made it. So that happened. It was me, my mom, and my dad. We made it through. Then finally one day we were in our camper at our wits end, and we got a call from the realtors, and they're like, "Hey y'all, it's ready to move in. Y'all can, it's all yours. Go ahead." So we moved in here on a bunch of air mattresses and broken hopes and dreams, but we moved in here. The reason we could not just move straight in though is because this house was owned by this older man, and it was a foreclosure because I think he ended up passing away, or he was put in a nursing home and then passed away. And the story that I was told was that he had a younger wife or a daughter or something like that, and she was like in her 20s or 30s or whatever, and that she was like, I don't know, I was just told that she let the house go to waste. She let it, like, the bank come get it. So, due to some problems with my camera, the footage got cut short right here, and whenever I went back to try and record a clip to put here, that clip was 20 minutes long, and it got deleted, so that is why there is a really big gap right here. But basically all I said was that his wife or daughter or whoever it was let the house go back to the bank, and it was a foreclosure, and they had a lot of issues on the house that they needed to fix up, and I will talk more about that in just a second. Okay, a little scene change, because I was recording. I had 20 minutes worth of footage recorded for you guys, and I was recording over here in my window, and my phone overheated, and it deleted the 20 minutes of footage, and for whatever reason, it took away, my 30 minutes worth of storage. So now I only have 8 minutes to tell you guys my whole life story that I told you in 20 minutes. Okay, so I had to take this from the very, very, very top. So the reason we could not move into our house though was, like I said, he had a younger wife and it was a frat house. There was a lot wrong with this house. They had to fix the water in it because the water was, we had well water and it was running brown. It was disgusting. And then our septic tank was not working, so they had to replace those two because by law you cannot live in a house unless those two are working. So that happened, and then we finally moved in here, and then right after we moved in here, COVID hit, because we moved in here June of 2019, and then COVID hit in 2020. Fast forward to 2021, my dad had a pair of work boots that he wore, because me and him were constantly outside, and like we have 6 acres of land, really 5 acres, and but it's listed as 6, but we're not gonna get into that right now, or at all. My dad had these pair of work boots that he worked in all the time because we're always outside doing yard work and stuff like that, and he had a insert that went into his foot, and girl, he had an insert that went into his shoe, and I covered all this in the video that got deleted, but basically my dad was always very sick. He had diabetes, and then he was also disabled, so me and him were constantly home together. He was disabled from 2010 until like present in the story that we're talking about right now. He was disabled for a good bit of his life, because he had his right leg amputated because, like I said, he had diabetes, he had a lot of heart problems, and with all those together, he just was a very sick man. All those together, he ended up having his leg amputated, and that is why he was disabled. And he had a insert that was a little like that goes into his shoe to help him like walk or whatever. He had it in his left work boot, and since he had diabetes, he had like neuropathy or whatever, where you can't like feel your feet, like the nerve endings in your feet or whatever. And this like shoe insert rubbed a blister on his foot, and he didn't know it. And well, I mean, he knew it, but he tried to fix it on his own because, like I said, he'd always been very sick. And one thing that causes a lot of fights in America is money. For my parents, it was between money and other things. It was money and my dad's health, because he was always sick and he never wanted to go to the doctor. So between those two things, they fought all the time. And he didn't want to tell my mom about the sore on his foot because he didn't want her to get mad at him. So he tried to doctor it himself, and he did a pretty good job. But at the same time, he did not, because he had to tell my mom eventually. He was like, I want to show you this, and he showed it to her, and it was a humongous blister. And by the time he showed it to her, it was infected, and he had gangrene in his foot. Long story short, he ended up going to the hospital. They had to amputate his big toe. That didn't work, so then they had to amputate his toes off, and then that didn't work. So then they tried amputating his foot off. That didn't work. So then they're like, listen, this is a big pill to swallow. We don't want you to have to do this, but it's the best option, because at this point my dad's like running a fever, that kind of sick with infection. They're like, we don't want to have to do this, but it's your best option, because if that stuff gets to your heart, you're dead. Like, it's over with. Also, y'all excuse me, I use humor to cope. I apologize. Anyways, but they amputated below the knee. The doctor that did it did not leave enough skin to wrap around on top of my dad's leg. So, in the long run, what happened was the bone of my dad's leg ended up poking through the skin. So his bone was through his leg, and it was not a pretty situation. We had a home health nurse or whatever come out here, and she was like trying to doctor it up for him, trying to help us doctor it up, because my mom has had so much experience in like sores and stuff like that with dealing with my dad that she pretty much knew how to do all that. So she was doctoring it herself. Well, then this girl, like I said, home health nurse, she comes out here and she's doctoring it for us and all that stuff, and she found a stitch that was left in there that was not supposed to be left in there. So we think that was another reason why this big sore was on his leg, between that and the bone poking through. So we went back, we got another doctor and this other doctor, or a second opinion, if you will, which is exactly what it was. I don't know why I said if you will. Second opinion, and he was like, the best thing that I can do for you is amputate it above the knee, and I know you don't want to do that, but it's going to be your best bet, because it's going to take care of all that you got going on with the bone poking through, and I will actually do a good job at it. Because the doctor that did it, that was a malpractice lawsuit, but the law firm, whatever, that we tried to go to was like, y'all do not have enough evidence. We took pictures, we took videos, we had doctor visit documents and all that stuff. They're like, y'all don't have enough evidence for malpractice. Sorry. So that doctor is still out there hurting people. And really quick, I'm not just saying this because he only did it to my dad. There was another lady, we looked up his name or whatever and like reports on him. There's this other woman, and he was like doing a surgery in her throat or whatever, and whenever he had the like cauterizing whatever thingy, he hit her vocal box, and she couldn't like talk for a while or whatever. Okay, one of my like mom's friends or whatever, she went to surgery with the same guy, and he messed her up really bad. I forgot like what he did, but I just know that she was really sick right after he got done operating on her.
Girl, if you do not get that now out of your mouth.
We've established that this man is a bad doctor. So this other doctor, he goes in, does the surgery, amputates above my dad's leg. Everything's looking good. My dad's leg looks good. My mom is like talking about how good it went, and then the doctor is talking about how good his like vitals and stuff were, and like he looked like a really healthy man. You know, which was really shocking because he was not a really healthy man. So the doctor was like, everything's going good. Just, I'll come see you in the morning, whatever. And that night, my dad went to his room, was in recovery and all that stuff. And my dad told my mom, he said, go home, be with Sarah, and get her ready for school tomorrow. Because I had like a party at school that I had to get ready for. And my dad was like, just go home, be with her, get her ready for school tomorrow, and just take care of her, and you can come back up here tomorrow. And that's exactly what my mom did. Well, my mom got home, me and her got into a small, minor little fight. And we both went to bed. I could not fall asleep. I did not know why. I thought it was because me and my mom had gotten into that fight. I was like, I can't sleep because of that. So I just accepted that fact, and I went ahead and I just went to sleep. And apparently, come to find out, my mom could not sleep that night either. I bet you can guess where this is going. Got a call at 1 in the morning, and it was a hospital, and they said, Tim is in respiratory distress. You need to get up here right now. It's not looking too pretty. My mom comes out of her room screaming, crying, like wailing, crying, screaming like a crazy woman at 1 in the morning. I jumped out of that bed. I threw on everything. Like, she didn't even, I just heard her screaming, Sarah, wake up. And when she said, Sarah, wake up, I put my shoes on. I jetted out that door, grabbed my phone, grabbed everything, because I knew what it was. I don't know, just I knew. So I grabbed everything, went downstairs. My mom was like freaking out. She's like, we gotta go, your dad is like whatever. She explained everything to me, and we got in the car. My mom was booking it on the way there. I was like, we're gonna die before we even get to the hospital to see him, because she was going 100 down the back roads, like the ones that like weave and stuff. Like, it was bad. My mom was like booking it to get there, and you know the hospital had been calling us and updating us like the whole entire time on our way up there. And then probably like 5, 10, 15 minutes ish, like right before we got to the hospital, they called, and it was like playing through the car, like it was on the Bluetooth, and I knew. Like whenever that phone rang, I knew. I was like, we're almost there. We're literally almost there. I know. And they answered it, and the way the nurse was talking, I was like, I knew it. My dad, like, he's dead. He's gone. And the nurse was like, we're so sorry to inform you, but he passed away. And I was like, great. I don't have a dad anymore. Cool, fun. So at this point, my dad has passed away. Now the next thing that I want to talk about is my mental health, which is another reason I've not been posting as much. My mental health, what I want to talk about with that is, I think from like the end of 2020 to the end of 2022, my memory is so foggy. I cannot remember barely anything. And when I tell my mom this, she's like, girl, you're just being dramatic. You can literally probably remember, you're just being dramatic. And I'm like, no, I don't think I am, because I do not have very good memory from there. I can tell you like things that happened. I just cannot tell you when they happened, or like what time of year they happened. I just know they happened. I just know that those are my memories that I have in my brain. So all my life I have been raised in church. I've always went to church. I've been a person of a very strong faith. I've always believed in God, and there's been no other questions and if or buts or doubts about it. And then 2020 rolled around, and I started hitting my teen years around then. I turned 15, and then that's when I kind of started getting more friends. And like you know, up until this point I was very antisocial. I did not like people. I did not like to talk to people. I liked my little 2 friends that I had, and I was always at home. I was homeschooled, so I didn't really I wasn't forced to have that social skill. I went to public school, or not to public school, but I went to a Christian like private school when I was younger, so I did like have social skills. But like then COVID hit, and then all we could do was talk to people through FaceTime and stuff. And I just had my little group of R4 and no more, and that was always me. Like I did not go outside of my comfort zone to try to meet new people. And then COVID hit, and then we stopped going to church. We just kind of like drifted away from that during COVID because we weren't like going to church. I wasn't going to church, and then the people I was hanging around with were really a bad influence on me. And I'm not just saying they're a bad influence on me because they made me get out of church. I'm just saying they're a bad influence on me because looking down the road now, the people I were hanging out with were not people that I should have been hanging out with at that age. I mean, they were the same age as me, but they were a lot more, I don't even know the words to describe that situation. I just know it was bad. So that happened in 2020, and then we were in the house all the time, and I turned to social media for comfort, for everything. I just kind of went into my own little place because my dad was like sick also at the time. Like between him being sick all those years and all that stuff, like that's when he started getting sick. It was really like 2020. So whenever he started getting sick and all that stuff, I just kind of went to social media. I went to my own little world for comfort because I mean, I could have went to my mom, I could have went to anybody else, but no, I went to me. I went to myself, and I could have went to God for it. I should have went to God, but I did not. I just kind of relied on myself, and I was always in my room on my phone, day in, day out, always on Xbox, always on my phone, always doing anything but actually coping with my problems. That was my way of coping. And I know you guys are probably, you're being so dramatic right now. Yeah, it sounds like I am, but I'm not. Because looking down the road now, like the effect that's had on me, it's taught me a lot of lessons, thank God, but at the same time, like, it's had a drastic effect on me. So that happened. And then in 2021, my dad died, and it got even worse because I was just trying to, like, I was like, this isn't happening. This isn't real. Like, I don't want to believe my dad's dead, and if I don't believe my dad's dead, then he can't be dead, right? So I was still in my own little world. I was on TikTok, and then I discovered this thing called hyperfixation. And the very first thing I remember hyperfixating on was Marvel, and it was at the end of 2020 because I remember I was on Disney Plus and I saw all the Marvel movies in like order, and I was like, I've grown up watching Marvel movies like here and there, but I do not remember anything that happened in the movie. So I was like, what better thing to do when you're trapped in the house with nowhere to go than to watch all the Marvel movies? So I did. And I think one reason that I loved to hyperfixate on things so much is because that was my own little perfect thing that no one could take from me. It was obviously movies, so I knew how it was going to happen. I knew like the outcome, and I just knew that like nothing was going to damage that perfect little thing, that little world of mine that I've created in my head. And I just ran with it. I took that and ran with it. So I was constantly in my room focused on literally anything but my problems. And during this time, I got super behind in school, an insane amount of behind. I mean, went from being a straight A student to like A, B, D. Like A, B, C's, and D's. I don't know why I skipped over C when I said that, but my grades plummeted. My mental health plummeted because I was no longer in church. I was always focused on the wrong things. I was always focused on everything to take away my pain, and not coping with my actual pain. I should have went to my mom and told her that I needed help, needed a therapist. I wanted to so bad, but I just didn't know how to ask her, how to tell her that her perfect little child was struggling with this. Anyway, so I just didn't know how to tell my mom that I needed help, but I should have. So I spent a lot of time in my room on my phone. We've established this. And I spent a lot of time focusing on all the wrong things. And you're probably like, Sarah, what does that have to do with anything? Well, I will tell you. What that has to do with anything is, like I said, have spent a lot of time in my room on my phone. And I don't mean just like in my room on my phone a little bit and then just go do something else. No, I mean like all day long. The second I wake up, my phone will be right there by me. I would turn over, grab my phone, get on my phone, scroll on TikTok for hours, go downstairs, get something to eat, come back up here, cut a TV show on, get my phone on, cut that on, and then scroll, just scroll mindlessly. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, would not do a bit of schoolwork, would be in my room constantly, would be watching the TV shows that I was obsessed with at the time, would be watching movies all the time, would be doing everything and anything to escape from my reality, which was that A, my dad was sick, and then B, my dad was gone, and then C, that I was a complete failure at everything, that my work life was crappy, my school life was crappy, and that I didn't have a dad. I kind of went into my own little shell, and everyone knew that I went into my own little shell. Like, I never told them. I was never like, hey y'all, look, I'm struggling, but there were signs. There were signs. And I don't mean like I went through emo phase. I just mean that I wasn't my usual happy, bright, out there self. And everyone noticed it. And one person that really noticed it was one of my really close friends that I go to church with now, and I love her so much. I would not trade her for the world. She is the sweetest soul you will ever meet. Bree Norris, if y'all are watching this, that's my girl right there. I love her so much. She's so sweet. She noticed, and she is honestly, like, looking back, I'm so thankful for her. Like, there was never really anything she did that just made me have like an eye-opening, like, I need to get my life together, but she definitely was like one of the people that was, I would definitely say, alongside my mom, she's one of my biggest supporters, I think, and I love her for that. Anyways, I'm gonna hold my dog because all my dogs are being brats right now, and I don't know why. So I just kind of went into my own little shell. I was like, I hate everybody, hate the world, my dad's not here, what's the point of living anymore? And just had my own little, like, world that I was in. And with that, I think that's another reason I have so much memory loss, is because I have been on my phone constantly so much. And this past week, I've taken a break from being on my phone, and I sound like I'm about to start crying. I'm not. I have like put my phone up, I went downstairs, and I've like cleaned everything, I've done schoolwork, I've done anything but be on my phone all day long, and my memory has improved drastically, just within a week. And like, I can definitely say that with this whole like me being on my phone constantly thing, that I have became addicted to my phone. And I know some of y'all are like, that's literally impossible, you can't be addicted to your phone. It's not. Anything can be an addiction, and I will be the first to tell you that. Anything can be an addiction. You can be addicted to anything. An addiction, honestly, let's go look up the real definition of an addiction real quick. The fact or condition of being addicted to a particular substance, thing, or activity. So, an addiction can be more than just being addicted to drugs. There is a little paragraph of text right here next to the definition, and I'm going to try my best to pronounce these words. It says, addiction is generally a neuropsychological symptom defining persuasive and intense urge to engage in maladaptive behaviors providing immediate sensory rewards despite their harmful consequences. So I think that was one thing that made me be addicted to my phone was every time I got on my phone, all my problems disappeared. They were gone. And I just went from being stressed to having no thoughts appear. So that is one reason that I became so reliant and so addicted to my phone. Because I was constantly on it, and it was constantly a way out of reality for me. I wanted to talk about that because that is also a part of the reason that I have not been posting as much. But I also want to say that if you are in that place now and you are on your phone struggling day in and day out, and you don't want to face your reality, so you're on your phone constantly trying to get away from life, I want to encourage you to try your best to just put the phone down for a little bit. And I know you're probably tired of hearing that, because I was too. I was sick and tired of people telling me what to do with my life, what to do with my phone. I was like, I'm my own person. Screw y'all, screw what y'all think. I'm gonna do whatever I want. And that is such a bad place to be in mentally. But you have to realize on your own that you're in that place before you can fix it. And that's what I had to do. It was a very painful process. Hurt a lot of relationships doing that, but I did it. I just want to encourage you to take some time away from your phone for just a little bit, no matter what it is that you're going to go do. If you just go outside, take a walk for a few minutes a day, or whatever it is, just get out of that little bubble that you've created and try your best to see what there is to see in this world. And I know you're probably like, Sarah, this world sucks. Not all of it. There are still good people in this world, and I can promise you that. So with all of that being said, I just want to be here to try to encourage you guys, or in my position, to try your best to break the cycle of being addicted to your phone. And I know a lot of y'all are probably, I just want to cover all the bases. I don't want to just be one of those people, because I used to hate, whenever I was addicted to my phone constantly and I was always on it, I used to hate whenever people would like always give you the good news but never let you see the flip side of it. They were always like, just get off your phone and go see the world. Just go. And they would never they would just say that and then expect you to do it. Like, girl, what? Anyways, but like I said, I want to cover all my bases. I know you're probably thinking, why do I need to be off my phone? What do you think is so bad about having an addiction to my phone? I'm not addicted to drugs. Yeah, you're not. That is a good thing. I'm proud of you for that. But I can promise you that the world is so much better than you think it is. And if you just try your best to break that cycle and get out of that horrible place, that it will be 1,000 times worth it. And I just want to encourage you to do it. And if you are having trouble with that, my DMs on all my platforms are always open for all of you watching this. And another thing I want you guys to know is that no matter what you're going through, you're not alone. That was one big thing for me that I always loved to hear whenever I was struggling, is that I wasn't alone. I was always like, I'm the only person on the world that knows my struggles and knows my pain, and I just feel so alone right now because nobody gets me. And then I would see a post on TikTok about some person who was like in the same spot as me and were going through the same things as me, and that was such a big encouragement to me. So I just want you to know that you're not alone, and that there are people out there who have struggled with what you're struggling with, and I promise you that it does get better eventually. And I know what it's like to be in those places. I cannot say I know what it's like for every experience, but I do know what it's like for most experiences when it comes to, everything I just talked about in this video. So yeah, that's that. Now then, enough with the sad stuff. Let's get around to the fun part. The reason that a lot of you probably clicked on this video. To all my subscribers that I do have left, I love y'all so much. Y'all are the best. I have 61 subscribers. I don't know how many people are actually still on their channels, because I know a lot of people probably made their channels and then when they probably did the same thing I did. Made their channel when they were a kid and then stopped posting and stopped caring about anything on here. We plan to start posting videos again. The whole editing process is normally where I end up not posting them. I'll record them, go to edit them, I'll start editing them, and then I'm like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. But I do want to start recording videos again. I do not know what my recording schedule will look like, or posting schedule. All that is to be determined and figured out. The other thing I'm going to start working on is my small business, where I used to make and sell a lot of my own products and try to sell them, but I never would sell them because I never had a large enough audience to do so, and I never had get enough product to do so. But I'm older now. I know things, and I have my own laptop because I bought it with my own money from my own job. So take it back. I'm really glad if you stuck around to this part of the video. I'm so glad you did. yeah, thank you for watching. I will see you guys in the next video, and I thank you guys so much for watching, and I love you guys. Bye.